Welcome everyone to the Young Professional African Collective, also known as YPAC, and I'm your host, Eberichi Obwaku. Here at YPAC, I talk to people doing work on the African continent or work pertaining to the African continent, and today I have a very special guest with me. This is going to be a great conversation on community building, on just navigating just what it is like to move around the African continent. So, without further ado, let's welcome my guest today, Ashley Ballard.
Hello, everyone. Yes, I am Ashley Ballard. You know what? I'm so big on joy, and I need to make sure that this is as conversational as possible, so I want to start with a joke.
Yes.
It's a corny joke.
Okay, let's do it.
So I know that you're an attorney at law, right?
Yes.
All right, so what do you call a priest who becomes a lawyer?
A priest who becomes a lawyer? I don't know.
A father-in-law.
Okay. Okay. Dad joke for sure.
Corny,
Which I love a good dad joke. Father-in-law. I was trying to think, like, is it gonna be like
something serious?
Yeah. Father-in-law.
Corny as it gets.
Yeah.
But I needed that. I was like,
yeah.
That's a good little laugh.
That's funny.
I'm
appreciate
so happy
that.
to be here.
Yes. Well, thank you. And let's keep breaking the ice.
Yeah.
What is a like Afrobeats or African song or something that like brings some nostalgia?
Ooh, nostalgia. Well, I would say I love Tim's, and I know that she's kind of moving mainstream, a little bit of soul, a little bit of R&B.
Yeah.
But I know, we were talking about the gym.
Yeah.
And so they know I have like a parting song.
Okay.
And it's not Love Me Jeje. What is the Tim song? Name some of the Tim songs.
There's is it like more upbeat or
It's slower.
The thing is, I don't know the titles.
So that's what is my issue.
Yeah.
I am
if you sing
somebody
a little bit.
who. That's how I know.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, I can hear it. Jeez, this is not good. That's not good.
Tim's. Okay, she has of course Love Me Jeje. There is Only Me and You. There is
I think it is Only Me and You.
Yeah.
But no, really, but I love Tim's, honestly.
Yeah.
I love Asake, but I am horrible at naming songs. I am the person who's like, oh, that's my jam.
Yeah.
Don't ask me the name of it now.
Not
Don't
the
ask me the
lyrics.
artist.
Now, artists, I think if I can understand the voice, except if they're like a lot of like new people, I'm not gonna know them.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna know.
So you could do a little bit of Motown, like the old school stuff,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
And
I've been drilled on it enough.
So I'll know that, but like, especially like newer people and then lyrics. I used to be like in like the CD albums that we used to have back in the day.
Yeah, reading it.
I would read along to the lyrics and look at the different like photos and whatnot that they had, and that's how I would commit a lot of things to memory.
Yeah.
Or I would go on like Google like what the lyrics are to certain songs. So it's just like I used to know lyrics.
But do you butcher them now?
100%. I make my own.
All the time, and it's
a
okay.
remix.
It's okay. But it's odd that I could not remember, because I also say that I'm like a living karaoke jukebox. So I'm that person that you might say a word and I'm going to know a song and I'll start singing it.
Yeah.
Like,
well, if a word comes up and you do remember the song, go ahead
sing
it, and then we'll know.
All right, which it was. Sorry, Tim's.
If you watch this, Tim's, we apologize. But
love you, girl.
Love you. Yes. That's really funny. Okay, those are great artists, Asake and Thames. I feel like, get some good memories going with them. So let's jump into it.
Let's do it.
Tell me a little bit about who you are, what you do. You can start professionally, and personally, all the things.
Let's see. I guess I will start with, I am originally from Los Angeles, California.
Okay.
I was raised in Compton,
okay.
California.
Shout out Compton.
And I'm just 2 weeks shy, however, of having lived in Detroit for 9 years.
Okay, 9 years.
9 years.
That's a long time.
Yeah, the snow didn't run me away. I'm a survivor.
You're a survivor, especially this January.
Girl. Yeah.
It's something different.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, like, I'm okay. I can appreciate seasons, and I learn from them.
Mm-hmm.
Usually around April, though, if it's still cold, I'm a little sad.
Let's wrap it up.
Yeah. So that's where I'm from.
Yeah.
I studied psychology. I have a master's in performance psychology that I took up in Edinburgh, Scotland.
Very cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I utilize that to manage contracts and pursue organizational strategy, growth. But my main focus is family preservation.
Okay.
And so that's even professionally, but personally as well. I believe that family is the foundation to all of life.
Yeah.
With strong families, we have strong, healthy societies. And so everything that I do is usually to uplift, empower, educate parents so that they can be capable of raising and loving their children as I believe God has intended them to.
Yes, I love that. And when you say performance psychology, like, does that mean like the arts? Does it mean
it was all the above?
Okay.
Yeah, so in Scotland, or at least at University of Edinburgh, it was almost like organizational psychology, but there was a strong emphasis on sports. So we did a lot of sports research, which at the time I thought that I may go into more of like a sports management career, but when you talk about journeys, when I accepted the program at University of Edinburgh, I had also accepted a master's and MSW program at University of Michigan.
Okay.
And in my mind, I was going to marry the two programs, and that I believed that the same motivation, discipline that athletes need to be able to peak their performance and be successful, or the same for a surgeon. Whatever it is that they're learning, the discipline that they have and the skills that they developed, I wanted to be able to apply that to families, individuals in low socioeconomic neighborhoods, communities, to be able to develop the human.
Yeah.
And I ended up not taking up the MSW program because it was just too much for me to complete what they consider a dissertation.
Okay.
It's a thesis, but I was writing my thesis and still engaging with U of M, trying to find what they considered at that time a field placement, finding a car, finding an apartment, all from overseas. So I went back home, but all of that has become a testimony in itself.
Yeah.
And God has just been so faithful, even with just the one master's program being completed.
And that's amazing, like doing that in Scotland. And so you were already in that program where you were thinking of also doing the MSW?
Yeah, well, I applied to both programs and got accepted to both. And I was like, oh, okay, this is what I'll do. Yeah. And I deferred the U of M program so that, because the program in Scotland was just 1 year. Okay. And I figured, okay, I'll complete this and let's, I'll hop over. But I mean, I had it all planned out, even so much I still think about the $500 ticket that went down the drain. Because it's like, how did you find a ticket from Scotland anyway to Detroit?
For $500?
I did, yeah. It was like $538 or something. Could have been the time of year, and it was one way. Okay. Couldn't get the money back. But it's okay. Okay. I made it anyway.
You made it anyways, and it's gonna be. Clearly. It's been great.
It's been great. Yeah. It's been great.
I love that. So, family's the foundation for you. Has that always been something that you gravitated towards?
Yes. So I think another unique thing is that I was homeschooled. Okay. My mom was my teacher. Yeah. K through 12th, I'm sorry. And when I was in high school and thinking about what is it that I want to do, from 6th grade, I would say I always knew that I wanted to study psychology, because that's when I found out that's the track for a therapist. And ultimately, I wanted to become a marriage and family therapist. Okay. So after graduation, we went to Colorado Springs. I got a certificate in lay counseling for marriage and family therapy to just have as a starting foundation.
And this was after high school?
I was 18. Went to Colorado Springs and completed that.
That's so awesome.
I was discouraged out of it, though, because I had heard from so many naysayers. How can you teach anyone anything about marriage if you haven't been married yourself?
Interesting. Okay.
So I had to reevaluate. When I was in undergrad, I thought, okay, well, I guess I'll just go into private practice. Okay. And I had a private practice internship. Okay. And I said, absolutely not. I'm not cut out for one-on-one therapy long term.
Okay.
But I knew macro level.
Yeah.
Like, I still love people. And I know that I'm called to be able to provide counsel, but there's a certain uniqueness and patience that is required for long-term therapy.
Yeah.
And then because I'm so goal-oriented,
I
can be a little direct and very strong because I believe that it doesn't have to take so long. Now, this is somebody, I'm pro-therapy. I have a therapist, right? And I thank God for those who have that patience to see people come again and again with the same problem, right, or the same challenge. It's special.
Honestly.
And thankfully, though, I was self-aware enough that I was not that person.
Okay. Honestly, that's important.
Yes.
Because if you're in a role that you're not really supposed to be in, it's not helpful for anybody.
So that is how I started to pursue all things macro and organizational. Still making sure that I can drive human performance and encourage that, but I knew that it was not going to be on the track of being a licensed therapist.
Okay. So especially with which I know with like a MSW, you can do so many different things. But how you even came up into that, like it's very cool, like just to see like the path and how it led you.
Absolutely.
Because it's what I'm finding all the time, like people's path, it's not always direct.
It's not.
And even if it is, something might happen.
Yeah.
There's something along the way that just makes the experience more, I don't want to say rugged, but just like more textured.
Absolutely.
Like
that's a beautiful way to say it. Textured is cute, actually.
Just
a little more positive,
too,
gentle. Because rugged is often what it feels like.
But I love I jerking like
the calmness of thinking of it as textured. Something that came to mind is, because every time, even with this, I hope that there would be someone who would be encouraged. Because I'm very I'm big on the journey, and it's not always, as easy as it appears. And when I think about also when I was in undergrad, for me personally, I'm a believer, follower of Christ, and I was in a class, ended up transferring to a private Christian university, and I had to take a spiritual formation class.
Okay.
And the professor said, there's going to be something that you're going to lay down in this time. Be sensitive. Listen to, the voice of God. And at that time, I was actually on a track to go into a PsyD program.
What is that?
I'm sorry, thank you.
Okay.
Psychology doctorate.
Okay.
And again, it wasn't to lend to their voice and say, I'm letting go of this. But what I ended up hearing was, can you surrender being called Dr. Ballard?
Ooh.
And can you trust that what I have for you will happen whether you are called Dr. Ballard or not?
Wow.
And it was because of that in undergrad that allowed me to be strong enough to look at that ticket go down the drain. That my picture of how I thought it had to unfold, I was able to just constantly surrender. Not always without disappointment or a little bit of fight and frustration, but even now at least to see, like, I work at an organization that was founded by Black social workers. So even though I didn't get an MSW, I'm still just in this world and doing the work that I always saw, but I didn't understand how it would get there.
I love that. And then the work that you're doing now, is it still focused on bringing families together? So family focused. One thing that you said was interesting was like kind of using the mentality like athletes and like surgeons, just like high performing people use to, is like kind of help them, give them endurance to like push past like some of the hard moments in life and just keep going and developing.
At the time when I was pursuing that program, there was a lot that we studied about motivation. But my thoughts on motivation has since changed. And I really believe that it's discipline, which you might be disciplined and not always have motivation. Like that's for sure. Going to the gym, right? I literally am trying to build a discipline in going to the gym, but I'm not always motivated to go. So I'm finding that there's a lot of demotivated people, but it's finding a way to, I would say almost a will to live, a will to be able to reach for something that seems like it's not obtainable, but really also what I'm finding is that everybody needs support.
Yes.
And so there's a evidence-based program that I was trained in, and it talks about support. So like, who supports the parent? Well, there's a therapist or a clinician that supports the parent. And who supports the clinician? Well, we have a community of people that's supporting, but it's talking about creating this ladder, almost like an elephant system, and how they commune and come together to support. I believe that sometimes where motivation lacks, if you have a strong support system, then that's what's able to boost you towards discipline. And so with the families, they may not always have the same grit initially because circumstances.
Yeah.
You know, generational trauma, that's first generation. I mean, there's so many different things that we could start to think through that might cause someone to be unmotivated. And really, we're just trying to fortify them with community, with resources, close resource gaps. I always say that it's not so much a lack of resources, but a lack of knowledge of resources that actually exist.
Yeah.
So
honestly,
really spreading the word about resources that are available, helping people obtain resources that they might need. It's also like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, if anybody's familiar with that. If we can begin to give people their first tangible needs or fulfill those, then that is often how perhaps people can become more motivated and have a desire to pursue discipline.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think what you're saying about just basic needs being met, then allow people to like dream. But if someone's hungry, you know, what can they really do besides just focus on getting food, focus on getting money to get food, or whatever they need to do to get food. So it's a thriving.
Yes.
Yeah, not just.
Yes. So there's components that, you know, I believe everyone is created to be able to peak in their performance, whatever it is, but it does require communities, it requires support. And if we're looking at an athlete, there's usually, even if it's just one coach, if you think of someone who comes from a lower economic community, there's always one person that is a support, that is pouring in love, educating, and that is what's propelling them, pushing them forward to more meaning, more purpose. And usually it's just a lack thereof. And so
that's amazing. I think that type of work is so important. And one thing I think about too is that translates into other things that you do as well.
Yeah.
So I know you have the organization
Twirl Global.
Twirl Global, and then
the initiative and programming that's under Twirl Global is like the umbrella, which there might be more that will come, but right now the main focus is roots and restoration.
Okay. So tell me a bit about that.
Okay. Well, first, Twirl Global, or
we'll start with Twirl Global.
Okay.
Yes.
That kind of goes back to that period of time where I had left Scotland and went back to LA.
Okay.
Even though I thought I was coming to Detroit.
Yeah. That ticket.
Because part of my going to U of M was also because I had known that God had been calling me to this city. For years, I heard that the Lord was just saying, there's people that are waiting for you. There's going to be a work that you'll do. And what I've since learned is that there's always seed time and harvest is what I call it, between when even God speaks something to us.
Yeah.
So we think is right now.
Yes.
And that's what I thought.
Yes.
So when I went back to LA, though, I did find myself just a little stuck and unsure of whether or not I can properly hear from God. Also, what am I going to do? I have this new degree, but what is it going to do here in the United States? Because I thought I was going to marry it with this other degree, you know? At that time, I had a new little niece and a little cousin. They were 6 months apart.
Okay.
And so even my little cousin calls me auntie to this day. But I started to feel my joy dissipate. But I would look at them and, gosh, I think they're about 2, 3, and they had so much joy.
Okay.
But even when I saw that their joy was disrupted, it wasn't long.
Okay.
You know, it was something that would come back around quickly. And I started to observe them, and I saw that they loved deeply, they forgave quickly, and they had this joy that I believe is like innate in a little girl, in a child. And so I started to think through the difference between being childlike and childish. And from there, I started a brand called the Iris Rose, which was named after them. And it was an inspirational brand, encouraging women on how to tap into the little girl on the inside, the significance of growing down after we grow up. Because I've said, you know, it's almost as if we feel as if we signed a contract that after 18 I can't be as joyful. I gotta figure out how to be sexy and serious, right? But I was like, there's this beauty and this joy, and now it's becoming a little bit popular, but I was thinking even back then about joy as a form of resistance, and how you've seen people go through struggles but still fight to keep joy at the same time. So that's what I did. And what happened was I would challenge myself to twirl, because it was something that I always did, but I stopped doing because I was not happy. But then as I began to remember that happiness was circumstantial, I would make myself get up and twirl. I had friends who would ask me, have you twirled today? Family who would ask me if I had twirled today, because they remembered that my twirl was a representation of my joy. So what ended up happening was twirl became a representation of an inner liberation, despite what was going on around me. And after sitting, I moved here in 2017, and the Iris Rose went dormant. So it's been almost 10 years, right? But over time, I had been processing, I gotta get back to some meaningful work. Not that my work that I'm doing with families is not meaningful, but there was still something on the inside of me. And as I processed rebrands and things, it wasn't making sense. But I realized, what is this thing that you already do? How can you continue to do what you love, but also drive impact? So instead of just taking vacations, because I love to travel, how can you travel but also spread love, teach, educate, connect, build community? So Twirl ended up becoming this acronym that represented my travel, my love for writing, my love and commitment for inspiring, restoring, leading, and speaking. So that's where
I love that.
This Twirl as an acronym actually exists. So it's personal, but it also reflects this professional goal. In that was born Roots and Restoration as well.
Oh my gosh. Like, even just thinking about like how intentional all of that is, like, it's beautiful. Like, I love that story. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, my pleasure. Just like hearing that origin story, because I'm always curious, like, what makes people start things when they do. Just like hearing from the time, just this organic thing that, you know, is very personal, very sacred, but also a way to make it make sense for other people and bring people in. So when you say you love travel, you love to go to different places, and wanting to think about like how to travel. I've heard people talk like ethical travel, so it's not just like going there, partying, going bar hopping, whatever, but like how you make an impact, connection with people. I guess, what have you found that's been, I don't know, maybe surprising or something that's been great?
People. I love people, and I have found that I can scroll through my phone, my WhatsApp, or even my social media. And one of the very reasons why I never deleted social media, because I thought about it many times, is that I have made friends every stop. Like people that we connect deep enough that we want to stay connected. And it's not because I've asked them to do anything for me, and not because they've asked me to do anything for them. It was just human to human connection, and I think that's beautiful. I do believe, and I've been talking about it more, about relational equity. I think that is one of the most important and core equities that we can ever try to really pursue, where people can think about currency. And I think the power of people and relationships is one of the most important things that we can ever build.
I love like just having like these time capsules from however many years ago. Like you can look back at a picture and like have like the memory of what it was like. Can you talk to me a little bit more about what you mean by, you said relationship equity? Yeah.
Yep, or currency, just when people think about things that you can pursue, you want to add to your bank account, right? And the dollar, they think about different currencies around the world, and having relationships. Like when I think about how we met, right?
Yeah.
And while we didn't necessarily instantly build a relationship, but it's the power of people connection, and remembering that knowing people, it doesn't have to be about transactions and getting things, but I guess if I could go a little bit deeper to make it make sense, is we have a lot of conflict in the world. And first, a couple of years ago, I read this book about the art of neighboring.
Okay.
And it was talking about Jesus as a neighbor.
Okay.
And I started to think through how you can't ask your neighbor for sugar really anymore, or rarely. I can't say no one. Somebody out there. Thankfully, I do have neighbors where we look out for each other, and if we ever do need something, we can. I believe in that. It's something that's starting to kind of fall away, and it was left in one generation, but I'm really committed to try to ensure that I can do as much as I can in my power. And so less about being networking and worried about what somebody can do for me, but I just want to connect with them as a human. And I think that it's a safety measure at this point, where people think that safety might be in their money, it might be in their work. It's actually in being a neighbor, and having solid, trustworthy friendships, integrity, character, how we're building that amongst one another.
I love that. That's so important. I feel like in the time, especially where things can be difficult, and it can be very much so online, very much so about like, okay, what can we, very transactional. I feel like to really deepen, like it takes effort. I think that's something that I have heard, the cost of maybe relationships or in community is inconvenient sometimes.
Yes. Very inconvenient. But showing up anyway.
I think it's important to really like be there for people, and sometimes it might look different. Different seasons might look differently, but really knowing like what you need, what you can put out, and what you can give.
I think something that I thought about when I was processing how inconvenient it can be to be a good friend, I was thinking about the creativity that it actually requires. And we throw the word intentionality around, but it does require intention. And something that I have also began practicing, and we hear about it too, if you have a home, you're like, why are you paying for this mortgage but you're never there, right? Is just the art of hospitality. It was something that I ran from. Like, I didn't really invite people over because I wasn't sure if my aesthetic was right, or the time in the day. And I realized that less is more in that when you're opening up your home. And the power of inviting people in, putting the pot of soup on the stove. That's something that I'm trying to now practice, to where I'm doing a little bit less of let's meet here and more come over here and be in my space. Because it was something that I desired, especially in my 9 years here. There was lonely seasons where I felt like I didn't really have community. So a lot of this has been creating what it is that I felt that I needed.
I love that. And you do that here, you do that elsewhere. Tell me about some of the places that you've been to do that.
So in travel and connecting with people, making friends around the world, when you first asked me, I was thinking about one of my trips. It was to Gran Canaria, the Grand Canaries, and I have pictures still, and we connected on Facebook, an entire family, but we met at karaoke. So connecting, and how you get to still wish people happy birthday. But I have people that I'm still connected to from my time in Scotland, but they live around the world. And so I took a trip to India, New Delhi, and I was able to meet with a friend that I kept from my time in Scotland. I have friends in England, I have friends in Italy, I did a lot of travel throughout Europe, and because of that, that's when I ended up having this shift. Like, girl, you can't go back to Paris until you go to the continent now.
Yes.
Because Paris was what I called to be my favorite place, right? And it was my happy place. So I would go and visit, and then I got this strong conviction of like, it's time to get to the motherland.
I love that.
Yeah.
I can relate to the sense of like trying to like maintain relationships. Not necessarily to get anything, but just like it was just an interesting conversation, and then maybe, oh, you're in Germany and I'm gonna be in France at the same time that you're there. Let's meet up somewhere. Let's do something to just try and connect, and just these great moments that happen just organically.
I don't know. I definitely probably travel with a different type of bravery that I even walk with at home.
Okay.
It's a different curiosity.
Yeah.
And even going back to my nieces, I realized they had just this knack for exploration, and I was like, I need to be more curious as an adult and explore and just, twirl around.
Yeah.
And I remember one trip to Paris, because I think this might drive us into where we really want to go.
Okay.
I'm walking down the street. This trip I'm with my cousin, and we were lost. And now, mind you, I've been to Paris 4 or 5 times, and I do not speak French.
Okay.
But I've always been successful there.
You can make it work. That's what you're telling me. You're resourceful.
Yes. And so I see this brother walking down the street, and I was just, something in me said he can speak English.
Yeah.
It wasn't because he was black. Something told me. And he goes, yeah, I speak English. When I asked, I was like, excuse me, do you speak English?
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, I do. Girl, we ended up connecting with him, and he and his cousins made us dinner. They were Ghanaian. That was 2013. I was like, I didn't even think about it all these years later. I was like y'all been my people since back then.
Okay, look at that. That's over 10 years ago.
Over 10 years ago,
My goodness.
We had such an amazing time. And what I meant by that bravery, and I do not encourage this to people who don't have the discernment to do it, but when we connected, it was just like, yeah, let's eat. Yeah, you can cook for us.
Yeah.
And just beautiful moments like that, and we stayed connected. I could just keep going. I think people just start coming to mind after a while.
Was that still in your time in Europe, or are you talking about now in other places too?
That I happened to be in Paris when I met that person.
Okay.
Let me think about. Let's see. Of course, I have relationships in Ghana.
Yeah.
That the first trip, I don't know if you even want me to go there just yet, but. I just hosted the first Roots and Restoration there.
Yes.
And one of my favorite components is that I just really wanted to close the event out in prayer. And so I had this gentleman named Oswald close us out in prayer, but I met Oswald on my first trip, he and his wife.
Okay.
And we stayed connected.
Yeah.
And even before I knew when I would actually have an opportunity to return to Ghana, they would reach out to me, they would check on me. And
I love that.
Interestingly, one day I was having a very hard day. And I just don't believe in hiding that. Okay. I do believe that there's a need to use wisdom, and that you're not going to dump or overshare with certain people. But this particular day, when he reached out, I really felt like I was supposed to say, I'm not okay. Girl, he called me so quick.
Wow.
And I said, when he prayed heaven down, but it was something that revived me in that moment, because I just wasn't sure how it was going to finish the day. And I remembered that, and I was like, oh, I need to have Oswald close in prayer. So in a way, what I'm thankful is that, and what I'm starting to see is that there's a lot of divine connections that are happening, but not just when I travel abroad, everywhere. Here, how we've crossed paths in different ways, right? I believe it's a part of a prayer that I pray, Lord, let me always be at the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
So even if that means that one night I've been invited somewhere, but I believe I'm supposed to stay home, that's okay.
Yeah. I
do not have FOMO.
Okay.
I do not fear missing out.
Yeah.
Because I really believe that I'm going to always be at the right place at the right time. And maybe another conversation, I could go into just detailed examples of how I have intersected and crossed paths with people in the most divine ways. You just can't deny it.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that answered your question.
Yeah. Well, I was about to say, like, please share. Like, is there like a moment in particular that like comes to your mind?
I even think about with the gentleman, he and his wife. I was at a museum in Ghana, but sometimes I think if again going back to just relationships and being aware of those around us, if we really value people, we would be more aware that we never know who is among us.
Yeah.
But I think we've been so conditioned to look for people of a certain name and status. And I think, for example, we see Adam Sandler, right?
Okay.
And everybody's been talking about how comfortable and casual he is. It's been this joke. Now, of course, he's a face that most would recognize. But if he did not have a recognizable face, he would be one who's overlooked.
Yeah. Literally
and
just walk right past him.
As I talk about this need to just build relationships and the power of relationships, it's really simply valuing those among you.
Yeah.
And not being a judge of who they are, where they can take you, how they can benefit you. And so, treating everyone the same. You just never know how it could even come back around to be a blessing to you, but it's not for the sake of anything other than I value you as a person.
Yeah. I love that. I love that you're talking about meeting, you said Oswald and his wife, just at a random museum.
Random.
You could have been at any museum or any other place.
Absolutely.
I guess tell me about your first trip to Ghana and other experiences that you had while you were there.
Yes. So my first trip, it was I think I was a little timid.
Okay.
I was excited to be there. It was not my first trip to the continent. So my first trip was to Zanzibar, Tanzania.
Ooh, what a way to do it. Okay.
and that was very intentional.
Yeah.
Because remember I told you I had this period where I kept on going to Europe, and that's a whole other thing we could talk about. I believe that it's conditioning, where we have been told, this is where you want to travel.
Yes.
This is the safe place. This is the beautiful place.
The luxury.
And if you want water, then go to the Caribbean, or then you have Mexico, and but you don't think about islands in Africa. Maybe now a little bit more people are becoming more aware.
Yeah.
And I almost talked myself out of it because of distance. But I said, no, I have to get to this continent. My entire being is desiring to be there. So let me just take this first step. And I went by myself. That was my first really, I would say, big solo trip. Because that was a long journey.
What was that like?
Girl, that was even faith. I was terrified the night before. Terrified strong. I was a little bit nervous though.
Yeah.
I remember talking with my parents, like, what did I do? Why am I going? Because I'm a researcher, so I'm going to definitely vet everything out and be logistical with, like, the plan. And so I had found a hotel, like an accommodation I knew that I would be safe and happy with, and they were going to provide transportation.
Okay,
but it was an hour out from the airport.
Okay.
And I got there, I think, like 9:30 at night, 10 at night, so it's dark.
Okay.
And it actually became fun.
Okay.
I remember being in this van, and they had the driver and a person who accommodated him, and I was just like, this is funny. God, like, this is faith. This is trust. Truly. Because really, what am I doing in this pitch black night, bumpy road, going nowhere? GPS not working. My phone not working. I'm just trusting that I'm getting where I requested to go. And I ended up I rested. And because I'm one of those people that I believe that we can learn from anything. So in that moment, I used it as a mindful moment to just calm down and see what is it like to not know where you're going. Okay. But to trust that you're going to get there. Yeah. And to even just feel how bumpy that road was. Yeah. And I remember too, Zanzibar, it's bumpy out there. Okay. And I said, how are they managing on these roads and their tires surviving? I better not get another flat tire from a Detroit pothole. I was like basically speaking to my tires, and I haven't had one since, and that was in 2023. There is. Because I was like, if these tires can go through this, my tires need to survive, okay? So that was Zanzibar. I'm sorry, I know I went on a little trail.
I love that, yeah.
But then after that, and it's beautiful because I had been waiting. I think when I finally officially knew, I was like, it's time to get to the continent of Africa. It was 2015. Okay. But again, that's a period of time where now I'm in transition, 2016, moving here, preparing to move here. So I had like an opportunity to go in 2016 to Ghana specifically, and it just was bad timing. Had an opportunity to go to the Year of Return in 2019, and I think that time I couldn't afford it. And all of this time goes in between, and I was just like, okay, so that's how Zanzibar. I was like, you got the money, you have the time, just get to the continent, no itinerary, no friends, just show up and believe that the time is going to come around where you'll have more reason rather, or meaning to be there. And I had no clue that 6 months after that I would be in Kenya. So had a friend. She is American, Nigerian, and Kenyan. And was able to enjoy Kenya with her and her family. So now I'm not alone. I'm with people again and socializing. And then that same year, December, so that was April and December, I had no idea that I was going to be in Ghana.
There it is.
And I remember sitting with a friend, and he's Ghanaian, American, and people were asking, "Oh, are you going too, Ashley?" I was like, "No, I don't think so." And he's like, "Yeah, she's going. She's going." I was like, "Okay." So he asked me to the WhatsApp group, and I really was not sure. And I remember it was December 1st. I bought my ticket to leave on December 28th.
Ooh, that was late. I know how those flights can get.
People were like, "What's in your wallet?" Like.
Listen, don't worry about it.
This is just the power of having no children or a man, right?
Amen.
At that time, it's like, okay,
that's just how it is.
Don't give or take.
Oh, so that's December. That was like end of the year celebration.
That was my first time. And so it was. I knew a group of a few people who were there, but I guess I started with just being a little timid. I was not brave to just step out and use Uber yet. I felt like I was gonna get lost, so I'm waiting for people, and but nevertheless, I loved it. And I remember there's a place. Have you been?
I've not been to Ghana.
Okay.
But to other places, Ghana is high on my list.
Okay. Well, there's a place called Republic, and anybody who's watching that has been to Ghana or lives in Ghana, like, it's a great outdoors environment. And so people laugh when I tell this story, but a lot of people say when they arrived to Ghana, the moment they arrived and touched foot, on the ground at the airport, they had this overwhelming sense of just being home. Well, that didn't happen for me. I was happy to be there. Because Ghana is where I always wanted to be before any other place in the continent. It was just the place that I heard about the most, and it was drawing me for years. But that didn't happen. So was there for maybe about 5 days, and then I'm at Republic one night. And I'm eating goat and jollof, which people laugh at this too, because apparently people don't necessarily eat at Republic all the time, but I was hungry, and it was delicious to me. And all of a sudden I just started crying because I look around and I just see the people, and that's when that overwhelming sense of being home, or it was also just, it was a little outer body. Like, I just couldn't believe it. It was overwhelming, right? Just different types of emotions, but it was also probably rooted in, I actually made it. I'm here. And when I started crying, one of my homegirls, she goes, "All right, girl, I'm so happy that you're having this moment, but these fine brothers just sat next to us." We don't know what they're doing. I had no clue either.
That's so funny.
These men had come to sit and chit chat. Oh, it was such a great memory. That is one of my favorite memories. And I actually have like pictures of the moment where I'm like laughing, crying, because it's like, oh, hey, didn't even know you were right there.
I love that, because it's like, I think that's like a scene in a movie or something like that. Like, you can't plan for something like that. Like,
no,
it just happens.
No. So that is when I had my moment. And I mean, every time I'm on the continent, I was telling my little cousin, she's supposed to be taking a trip to Kenya this year, and I said, pay attention to the billboards. See what it's like to be the majority where everything is catered to you. That still, every time now when I go, it gets me, because I didn't realize what it really felt like to be so important that every single poster and picture is of your skin tone.
Mm-hmm.
And shockingly, that was something that was really powerful for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think I love hearing Roots and Restoration.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Roots and Restoration, that's an organization under Twirl Global.
Yeah.
Tell
An
me about
initiative.
that. An initiative.
I would say.
Okay.
Yeah. But who knows? I mean, things take different turns and become different things, and I'm open to whatever it can grow into be.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me a bit about that. What was the vision behind it?
Yep.
How did it even
come
about?
So I, since I was a child, have been just taught different scriptures, and one is Psalms 1.
Okay.
And it was like one of the first verses that my siblings we had to learn, which is, "Blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor stands in the way of sinners, nor sits in the seat of the scornful, but his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in it shall he meditate both day and night. And he will be like a tree planted by rivers of water."
Yeah.
So always just kind of thinking of my life and myself as a tree. There's different verses in the Bible about being trees of righteousness, but as I continue to try to be a tree, I was also led to just another verse, which was Jeremiah 17. And it talks about, verse 8, that even in times of drought, this tree thrives.
Yeah.
So one, it was being just rooted in scripture, but again, that same period of returning from Scotland, in that, what I would say was like a valley season, because I just didn't know what was happening with my life. I wanted to be adventurous, and I also had a blog with the Iris Rose, and so one of my blogs was about exploring your own backyard.
Okay.
It was to encourage myself and other people to remember that travel does not just have to be international.
Okay.
Because I was a new graduate from grad school. I had not acquired a job yet, and so of course cash flow was not necessarily there, but I had this wanderlust that I did not want to die. So I was looking for local opportunities, and one of the things that I also had learned when I was abroad was that Europeans, if they can afford it, they travel their continent extensively.
Yeah.
And people would say to me, "Oh, your Grand Canyon is beautiful." And I realized I had never been. "Oh, and the Niagara Falls is beautiful." And I had never been.
Okay.
So I started this journey to explore what was right here. What are some places in the United States that I have never been, that I've always been curious to see. One of those places was the Redwood Forest in California.
Okay.
So I took a backpacking trip with a group of strangers.
Okay.
One friend who was really one of my aunt's friends first, but she just had this desire to be adventurous as well. And we booked this trip to do an overnight backpacking trip into the Redwood Forest.
Okay.
We
on adventure.
Had nothing but our backpacks.
Okay.
We did not pitch tents. We just rolled out sleeping bags.
Oh, wow.
And
that's hardcore.
It was hardcore. Hardcore. We cooked our food right there. Wow. We used the bathroom out there.
Okay.
So while being, wanderlust and trying to explore my backyard, I also just wanted to challenge myself. I was trying to say, girl, you're not going to spiral, into a low place. You're going to revive joy and curiosity, and that was one of the ways that I did it. And that was in 2015.
Okay.
I was so fascinated with the redwood trees.
Yeah.
Just how tall they are. It was also intimidating because at night, not having a tent, I remember looking up and I was like, I don't know if that's a star or an eyeball. Ooh. I am going into this sleeping bag and I'm not coming out until they tell me sunlight has, broken.
Yeah.
And but then I started to study the redwoods too and do some research and learn about them. And for a very long time, I've been just kind of teaching about the redwood tree and the redwood forest. And one of the things that a lot of people may or may not know is that the redwood tree is not as tall as it is because its roots are deep in the ground. Okay. It's the tallest tree in the world. It can live up to 2,000 years long.
Wow.
So it's one of the longest standing trees, in history. But the roots only go 6 feet into the ground.
Okay.
but they gain their power and ability to stand and grow tall by interlocking underneath the soil. Okay. So the forest is a community, and their roots feed and nurture one another. And when a redwood is in distress, if it begins to bend, the forest will lean into the wind that is making that redwood bend a little to preserve it and try to protect it from snapping. I had learned about the canopy of which is the top of the redwood tree. Because it's so high into the sky, it can receive moisture even when it's drought season. And so there's moisture in the sky, and it can allow this moisture to descend into the forest. And then it's nourishing and providing water to the entire ecosystem.
That's amazing.
So redwoods don't just nourish one another, but they are a source of nourishment for the entire environment around them. So I have this personal belief to be like a tree, be like a redwood. And instead of just holding this for myself, I'm taking it wherever I go, and I'm spreading the message, whether it's based in scripture or this analogy of the redwood forest and what does it mean to be a people who can reach and receive and not just grow for our own self success, right? But to know that whatever it is that I'm able to acquire and retain is so that I can reach out and share it to nourish those around me. Thinking about our own individual ecosystems, what does it look like? And that's kind of the founding point with roots, the power of roots. But then I thought about restoration. I'm really big on just like words. So even if I do know the definition of a word, I may sometimes look up the definition anyway to see if there's something that I'm missing that I can go deeper, or another word that I can look up that definition. And I think that sometimes we will use a word casually. If I can even just make it make sense, right?
Please.
I'm so serious about the meaning of words that I've never been a woman to use the term beat face. Because I know that there's women who get beat and punched in the face. So why would I talk about something that's supposed to beautify me, or that people have used to conceal a bruise as, you get what I'm saying? So somebody might say it ain't that deep, but for me, it is. So I was looking at restoration. I think that there's always a deeper meaning, a root meaning to a word, a situation, a person's story. And so I was thinking about us as a Black people, the diaspora, and I'm like, there's a lot here. A lot of potential, a lot of damage, a lot of opportunity, right? But I'm like, well, what are the root causes that have like brought us to where we are today? That has caused us to think the way that we think, live the way that we live, whether we're divided or coming together. Like, what are the root reasons? So roots has many different, connotations, but ultimately I believe that we're not fully living as a restored people, and that there's an opportunity to fully be restored, meaning returning to the original plan, the original intent, what was stripped, broken throughout generations, through colonization, whatever it might be, right? How can we reach restoration? And what is the root of restoration? It's not for me to necessarily tell people, but collectively I believe that through this dialogue that we'll be able to have and communing with one another, we'll find it. But knowing that there's a collective strength that we have if we come together. And so that is one of the main goals, is to make sure that we're reaching a unified state, being a united front, because I do believe in that is where we will truly be able to reach restoration.
Can I tell you, my word for this year is restoration.
Wow.
Ooh, now we about to be teary-eyed.
That's all right.
Let me tell you. 2023, 2024, 2025 were very difficult years. And even now it's still like trying to navigate transition. I feel like all those years were just a lot of transition. Some were like 2024 was a very stark transition. 2025 it was like a long, like drawn out, like, all right, Lord, I know you love me. I know you get me out of this, but eek, this is uncomfortable. Definitely felt a lot of things in me, endurance and build up my faith, like probably that I've never really had before, or maybe I've had it in a small extent, but like how do you continuously have, how do you live by faith? And this year I'm just really believing like, God, this is a year that it's being restored. It's not just getting to you know, back to where it was, because probably there was cracks in that foundation. Like get it to where it's even better than I expected, even better than I could have even imagined. Oh my gosh, it rings so true in my own life. And I've never wanted to just be restored just to like, just for show, but like I don't like it won't feel good to me if it's just me. Like I want my family restored, I want friends, community. Like life is too fragile and just too it'll be too meaningless if it's just me. Like I want it for other people. So
you're living like a tree, you're living like a redwood. That is a mindset, is what I'm really realizing and wanting to help people adopt. But because you catch it already, when you want it for others, a redwood just, it does not stand alone.
I love that the meaning behind the organization and how it's really played into like so much of what you do, and like how you represent it, and all the different ways that you build upon it. So thank you for like the origin story of it all.
Thank you. Like that's the root. It's always a foundational beginning, and but meaning, right? Does it have meaning? When people ask the why, but usually the origin of how it happened. And my hope though too is that people hear me when I say I was at a low point. I went into that forest because I was trying to reach for things that I felt were once a part of me that I was losing because I wasn't understanding my time and season in that moment. And sometimes we have those periods in life, but nothing's wasted. Nothing is wasted. I would have never thought. Now that was in the summer of 2015, so 10 years ago, when Roots and Restoration was born. I did not know, but God took me, and now I'm just really kind of getting this revelation into that forest. If I didn't have that low point, or if I was at U of M, right? So this is how encouraged I am to know that Roots and Restoration did not end January 2025. It wasn't a one-time thing, because it has too much meaning and depth and history already as to what is, being used to push it forward.
Honestly, that's beautiful. So what did it look like when you took it to Ghana?
So when there, or still as I was building it, or...
Ooh, let's talk about that, as you were building it, and then that launch.
Because you ever have something where it's like so broad and you know that you have to like narrow it in, it's like, oh, that's too much. I was struggling, like, how do I make this make sense to anyone, because it's so many different things. And I struggle with, like, I don't want to be boxed in. I don't want to box anything that I'm creating in, because I think that it can be many things. So I took what I had. I tried to make it make sense. And I started with, well, one, I knew that I couldn't do it on my own. This was only going to be my second trip to Ghana. And I think it was September that I knew that I was going in December again. And I began to just get this sense that I could not go for vacation alone. That it had to be a trip that was meaningful. And what I specifically got in my spirit was that it was supposed to be a time where I was sowing seed into the ground, whether and at that time I didn't really know what did that look like. But I knew that I wasn't going to lose anything. It wasn't going to be that I wasn't going to gain rest, that at the same time I would still in many ways be restored, right, as I was working. And I think it was October, I reached out to someone and I was like, I have this crazy idea that I'm supposed to host an event and a conversation in Ghana. The person that I reached out to, I met on my first trip. Okay. Oh, and you asked me earlier, like, can I give examples of these divine connections? Girl, this is one of the main recent ones.
Yeah.
So December 2024, I am going to get dinner at this place called The Mix. And I twirl, like literally randomly. Yeah. Like I might leave here today and twirl, right?
Yeah. So just like twirl?
Physically, I literally will just twirl.
Yeah, okay.
And so like I was being playful and I like twirled into this space.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that there was an exhibit. It was an art exhibit. And I was like, ooh, let me tiptoe out.
Okay.
When I was coming down the stairs, though, I realized that I have video footage of these two individuals. And so I actually will shout certain people out because you guys deserve to have your name recognized and heard. Mm-hmm. So these two individuals is Sherrill Genfie and Ashman. I'll just say Ashman for his artist name. Okay. But they're there, and Ashman is having an exhibit. And I was preparing to walk out, but at the time I didn't know, who they were, and I just told Ashman, I like your pants. Mm-hmm. Anyway, to try to speed that story up, we ended up, they said, where are you from? They, I guess, recognized my accent. Yeah. And we exchanged contact, and we stayed in touch.
Okay.
Now, fast forward to 2025, Sherrill is the person that I messaged about this crazy idea.
Okay.
Turns out she wasn't even going back this year. She's like, girl, I'm not even going this year, but I got you. This sounds amazing.
Oh, that's amazing.
You hear me, right? And she was like, you need to know this person. You need to connect with this person. So she's sending WhatsApp messages to connect me.
Okay.
Well, one of the people that she reached out to was Alicia Diggs.
Okay.
And I actually met Alicia. Ashman had an exhibit in D.C. in September 2025. So I had met them in December 24. He had an exhibit in D.C. in 25. Mm-hmm. I go and I meet Alicia Diggs through Sherrill and another woman named Jewel. I can't remember Jewel's last name, but hey, girl, if you see this. And Sherrill tells me that she met her and Jewel on Clubhouse. Okay. Do you remember Clubhouse?
I do remember Clubhouse.
So if we have time,
especially COVID times. Clubhouse was the place to be.
So it was these three young ladies. Sherrill, it was the first person I told in October. She reaches out, and then we do a virtual call, and I'm just sharing.
Yeah.
Like I am right now from, my heart, what I think Roots and Restoration should be as an event. And they were like, wow, I love it. Yes, let's do this. So one thing after another, people committed their time to connect me with those that I may not have known.
Okay.
I was just really astounded by the generosity that they displayed because Alicia has an organization called Nurses on the Move.
Okay.
Nobody in this crew that I just named to you was selfish.
Yeah.
And the reason why I wanted to say their names is because they're doing great things. Mm-hmm. And in their greatness and in what it is that they're building and presenting to the world, they still saw that they could give to me in this vision that I shared with them. They didn't have fear that I was going to steal anything or, dim their light. Mm-hmm. The abundance mindset that these women carry is just fascinating, and I commend them. And I want us all to feel that way. Okay. Like we hear about it saying there's room for us all at the top, but people don't really live that out.
Gotcha.
So how Roots and Restoration in Ghana was able to take place is because there was women who were generous. There was women who could catch vision and understand, and they could run with it to tell others about it. Yeah. And then those who heard about it through a one-pager that I wrote. Okay. They said yes. They were like, oh, this is good. I will commit my time. Okay. So then there's, the panelists that we were able to have, the co-host, Esther Sachi of Dream Team International, just really bringing things together, sharing vision and creativity. It was not a one-woman show. Okay. It was not about me. Yeah. It was about all of us, and it happened because everybody was able to give their yes and commit to the vision.
Yeah.
Needs to be done, right?
Yeah. Have you got a moment to reflect? Okay.
No, I got back on Sunday the 11th, and I went to work on the 12th.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, you were real serious about that.
Yeah, actually, the day I got in, I went to BYOC to speak a little bit about vision at the Vision Board event. I've hit the ground running, and haven't reflected, but I think a lot of what I'm doing right now is just embracing that I don't have to have it all figured out. And I'm like even okay to say that, publicly, but I'm confident in what I have received and what's been born and birthed. I do know that I have to be patient because sometimes I think we're eager and thinking that we're going to run out of time if we don't do it right now. Yeah. But what I've seen is that time really does serve us. And when we think we're running out of time, God is divinely ensuring that we are meeting our Sherrills and Ashmans and Alicias, right? Yeah. Yeah. There's so much more that I could say.
I guess talk to me about the event. Was it one event? Was it a series of events? Like, how did that look like?
One event, one day, Sunday, January 4th, and we had like 2 panels. First, it was great though. We had a networking hour where we had a Dream Team International and Roots and Restoration networking bingo. Okay. So it was asking like if you were from the States, what state were you from, or find somebody who is from the same state as you. Were you born in Africa, which country? Just different things to really, one, create a bridge and connect people to encourage them to not just be seated, because we were trying to give time for people to arrive, but that was beautiful in itself too, to see people like literally walking around with this paper, never have met before, engaging in this game that we created. And then I had an opening where just trying to share the story, right? And what does it mean? Because one thing that I realized is there was just this little bio like on Eventbrite or Luma, and people showed up. It captivated them enough. Yeah. But I know that it is something that is still kind of like, oh, well, what does it really mean? Okay. So we took time to share and lay a foundation, as I called it. And then we had a panel where it was just the artist, and we called it Stewards of Story. Okay. And so we talked about how they were stewarding their own stories and just even stories of the diaspora to be able to share it, and how they're preserving culture and really protecting and sharing our history. And that was a beautiful panel, but also shining light on just their skills, their work. And so Ashman is in fashion and also motion, like photography. Okay. He has really cool art where there's an app that you download when you go to his exhibits, and his art has motion. Oh, very cool. Yeah, it's really fascinating.
Okay, I love an interactive art exhibit.
And then Francis Brown is the CEO and founder of one of the leading animation studios in Ghana. Oh, very cool. And so it was a very rich panel. It was something that was important to me because while we were using creativity as the foundation, I am very strong, and one of the things that will begin to come out of Roots and Restoration is just the power of telling our story as a people, preserving our history, and not allowing anyone to tell it for us. So when we see what's happening right now, right, in the nation, one day there might be things that are completely gone, but it is dependent upon us to know our history and to tell it to our children. And I had used openly just about some of the work that I had done like in Black and Jewish relations. And I've seen that every Friday night you're going to see a family at Shabbat tell their story. They're praying over their children. And I want that for us, where we are ensuring that we're passing down our story. Yeah. So how are we preserving it? How are we telling it? Yeah. And making it like it's our responsibility. Yeah, absolutely. To tell our story. To tell it and to really protect it. Yep. Because like you're saying right now, there's so many distortions, literally destroying like material, or AI is now thrown into the mix. One thing that me and my parents, sometimes when we look at videos, or they send videos, it might be someone telling your story or something like that. I'm like, this is AI, like, this, right? And it's like, though the story, it may or may not be true. We don't know, but it's still like, just be careful. Like, you really have to be careful of what is out there right now. It is, and it's going to be interesting and even more important to know for ourselves what the truth is. Yeah. So, we didn't go as deep like into history. But one of the things that came out in the second panel, which was wellness focused, but in order to be well, like we need community. And so we really took a little moment to touch on the divide between Black Americans and those who were born in the continent. And while we're talking about returning and coming, but how can we really connect as a people? One of the things we found when we talk about our history is that there's not necessarily shared understanding. Because it's all been taught differently, and a part of that was due to colonization. Everybody's experiences has been different, the understanding has been different, what has been taught and passed on. So of course it didn't happen then, but when we think about what can come from Roots and Restoration is the power of coming together for shared story, but also shared understanding, so that I can sit with someone in a country in Africa, or we can have another panel, and it's really to begin to share so that we can come into understanding, because with understanding are we able to really fuse together and be empowered as a collective people.
I love that. I love that the point of the conversation, it wasn't like a us versus them. Because I've had conversations or been in spaces where that's literally the approach, and it's like, okay,
can't stand it.
Like, how do we get to the point where it's like there needs to be something at the end that says, okay, and now what do we do? Like, I get that there are issues, they need to be discussed, like it is something to address, but like also what do we want from like, do we just want to vent? Because like I guess that's one thing, but like, do we want to actually move forward? Like I'm kind of I'm goal oriented too. Like, what do we do with all this information?
What do we do with it, right? And it's bring it to the table. And what's beautiful didn't happen there, and it may not. I don't think that's the essence of Roots and Restoration. I believe that just as there were those who read the one pager and they were like, yes, because anything that I do is also joy, is rooted in joy. Like, I want to say, yes, I can still have joy even in the seriousness of this topic. And I think what will start to come out of it is that those who know, like, okay, we have to have this necessary conversation, but it doesn't have to be messy. And I think it's when you show up in love and patience and mutual, like we have a mutual goal. And
absolutely,
everybody who was there, they had the mutual goal of wanting to connect as the diaspora.
Oh, I wish I was in the room. Oh my goodness. That just sounds amazing. Like all the different like curated like moments and curated like people that were there, and then just like the organicness with the people that they heard of it online, or someone brought them and they didn't necessarily know what was going to be there. So just to have that vision from, you said September.
Girl, yes.
That was a quick, turnaround.
But it was, I think what I would love for people to catch too is just that when something's already on the inside of you, sometimes we're making sense or we don't really know. But I also think that it was timing. Like all of these moments made sense, or because I was already utilizing and like I was going and speaking. I probably have a book that needs to be called Roots and Restoration, because I've gone and done a few talks just about the Redwood Forest, right? And so it was really kind of just one thing after another, and somebody would maybe use the word evolution, but it grew and evolved into this event, but it's not a one time.
Ooh, okay, so there's more.
Oh yeah.
I love it. I'm excited to see what all becomes. I feel like just the fact that it's such an intentional conversation. It's such a way for people to like stay connected. Just like what you've been talking about this whole time. Staying connected with people, staying connected and never knowing like how it will evolve and really present itself. So thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Was there anything else you wanted to share?
I guess I would just say that if anybody's watching and if there's anything that stood out, resonated with them, I want everyone to know that Roots and Restoration is not a me thing. It's not a personal initiative, but it's for all of us. And one of the things I want is that the conversation may take many different turns, or there'll be different topics. This first event we had stewards of story, but there might be room for, there will be room for other topics, other panel subjects. But in those moments, whatever it is, we're shining the light on those who are involved, because I want to I think those who helped ensure that it was able to take place for the first time in 2025, oh no, that was 2026. Oh my gosh, 2026? It was just like 2 weeks ago. It felt like forever ago.
Okay.
I just got back.
I was saying, you said you were up and running, so.
Wow. Yeah. See, that's why I said patience and just going, with the flow. Anyway, I will say that the same way that those ladies came and said, oh yeah, we can do this, even though I said, hey, I have this idea, it became a we thing. And that is going to be what ensures that we can have Roots and Restoration Detroit, Roots and Restoration LA. And I'm going to keep saying it. I said it there, Roots and Restoration Rwanda. This is like going throughout the continent and throughout the U.S. Because it really is to bridge us. And so it's not a one-person show, and it's for everyone to be highlighted and empowered and to tell their story as well.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to be connected.
Yes, you will.
I hope y'all stay connected. How can people stay connected?
Yeah, I can be found at ashley.twirls. Okay. So it's twirl with an S.
Okay.
I think that is the best place to find me. Roots and Restoration also does have a platform, which is Roots_Restoration. Not a lot of curated content there yet. But if people want to lock in there, they sure can, to stay tuned. But I will always share from my personal page, and then there's a link as well for my Substack, which I will be doing more writing just on subjects like the redwood tree and helping people find restoration through the reading of the material.
Okay. Ooh, I feel like we could have talked about so much more.
I do too.
But I feel like you'll just have to come back another time.
I would love to come back. Thank you. And I look forward to what we will do together and how we can continue to uplift and shine the light on your collective and all of those who's been a part of your network.
Definitely. Yeah. I think it'll be amazing. There's too much here. So, it's good stuff. Let's keep it going. So, oh my gosh. I hope you all enjoyed this latest episode of YPAC. Please follow Ashley on all her platforms, all her pages. Just doing amazing work. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, comment, all the things. And I will see you on the next episode of YPAC.
Bye.